So when we take a look at a youth player, the player goes to coaches and works with coaches and specialized coaches clinics. And what they do is they increase their mechanics. They enhance their mechanics and their movement patterns. And this increases the player's potential. So the problem, though, is with this, if the player only trains their potential, then if they go into game situations, their performance can still suffer, even though they're a better hitter or a better pitcher than they were before. And this came to me many, many years ago, probably over 40 years ago. I've been coaching youth for many years. Is that when I was coaching young players that had done martial arts, karate or something like one of those martial arts, for at least 5 years, these athletes never let the team down or themselves down in the big moments of the big games. And I observed this pattern, and I began to wonder what was going on. So I studied the martial arts training methods, and what I observed was that in martial arts, this ancient method of fighting, that the mental side or the mind side was trained right along with the mechanics of the athlete, so that when they came to performance time, there was virtually no interference with the athlete's ability to show their potential in the game. And that's what's missing so much in our modern ways of coaching baseball. They get a ton of work on their mechanics, and they hope that these mechanics will solve all their problems. So the young athlete has a misconception. I'll call it a misconception. The young athlete has a misconception that if I can just get the right set of mechanics and everything will be great, that I'm going to be away to the races, I'll never have to worry about anything again because I have the best set of mechanics, just like Mr. Pro Player. The second misconception that players can carry, and this is at all levels of baseball, is that those players that can show their potential consistently in the performance times have better talent and better mechanics and better athleticism than I do. Derek Jeter immediately comes to mind, often referred to as Mr. October, and what would happen is Derek Jeter will have the ability to show his true potential in the performance of the postseason, when the pressure is higher, the anxiety is higher, the stakes are higher, everything counts for more. The difference with Derek Jeter than the other players, and again back to our misconception, is a lot of younger players or players even on his team would think that, well, Derek Jeter is just a much more gifted and talented player with more athleticism than I have. In actual fact, you would find on that team, if we did measurement studies, that Derek Jeter's potential actually maybe wasn't even as high as some of the other players on the team. And that's an interesting fact. But the Derek Jeter's difference was that he had the ability in his mind to not allow his mind to interfere with his performance in the games. A third misconception, especially by players on a team, is when they watch the stars, Miguel Cabrera, David Ortiz, Manny Ramirez, players like that, go into games, and no matter how big the game is, they seem to remain calm and focused. And so the athlete who struggles in those tough situations may be thinking, I'm the only one who's experiencing this issue. Those other guys have got it all figured out, man. They've got it together and they've got more talent than I do. That's an actual misconception. And if we were to look at a sports psychologist named Rick Peterson, Rick Peterson was a professional pitcher, pitched on the big teams. He became a sports psychologist, and he was a pitching coach and a sports mental coach for major league teams. And Rick Peterson said it this way: you don't know how many Hall of Fame players and Cy Young Award winners that I had to work with to help them with stress, worry, doubts, and fears. And he tells a story of in Yankee Stadium in the postseason with his amazing closer going out to the mound because the closer was starting to struggle. And the closer said to Rick, "I can't feel my legs." And Rick made a joke. He said, "Well, we don't need you to kick a field goal. All we need you to do is hit that glove with your next pitch." So just to review quickly the misconceptions that pretty much all players hold. First one is, if I can just acquire the right set of mechanics, that will solve all my problems. The second one is, I'm the only one experiencing this pressure. Those guys over there, those stars, have it all together. If we can expand this one a little bit further, when I ask college players or professional players, what percentage of the players on your team experience tension, pressure, anxiety, tightness, and poor performance? They will say typically 80 to 90% of the players on their team experience these issues from time to time or all the time. What that means is that you're not the only one experiencing it. Virtually everyone is. This is the normal situation. If 80 to 90% of the players are experiencing this, this is what's normal. The one or two on the team who don't experience this in the big moments of the big games have somehow acquired a skill which allows them to escape the pressure. The third misconception is when these situations happen to a player is that, I guess I just don't have the talent to play at this level. Another misconception, you would not have been chosen for that team if the coaches, scouts, or recruiters didn't feel you had the talent. The problem that you're experiencing, back to our formula, is that you haven't learned the way to not allow the mind to interfere with your ability. It's just a simple training. You need to train your mind so that it can't interfere with your ability in the big game, in the big moments. The issue is not your talent. It's never your talent.